So, recently, I've been wanting to invest in security cameras for my house. Basically, where I currently live, old abandoned trailer park off across the street. Someone bought it. They're turning it into a campground, which is cool. The other thing, they also apparently are getting a license so they can host events and stuff over there, which, again, that's cool that they're doing that in this area, but also it makes me paranoid that people are going to get bored and wander around and then eventually wander over here. So, me embracing my paranoia, I pulled the trigger and I bought some security cameras. I went with the Blink Outdoor 4 security camera system. It's by Amazon. And so, yeah, let me just show you my cameras. But the first thing I need to show you is actually in the house. It's probably one of the most important pieces of the whole thing.
So the first part of my new security cameras is this little guy right here. This is the sync module. This is a little device that is basically used. This is what connects to the internet, to my Wi-Fi network, and then the cameras actually connect to this module. So it's super important. You can't use the cameras without it. It's basically, if you buy more than a 1-pack of cameras, it's going to come with one of these. And sometimes if you have more cameras, I think might be more than 5, but don't quote me on that. I'll have to double check it. But if you have a certain amount, you may actually even need 2. But this is what connects the cameras together. There's also on the side of it here, there is a USB port. That is so that you can actually connect like thumb drives or hard drives or an SSD via USB cable to the sync module to actually sync your security camera footage to. So basically, with a hard drive attached to it, this could kind of also act as an NVR type deal for storing your footage. So that is pretty cool. Yeah, that's basically the sync module. Let's go take a look at the cameras.
So this is what one of the cameras look like. So this is one of my Blink 4s, just an outdoor wireless camera. It's pretty nice little camera. It's completely weatherproofed obviously since we're being outside. This is just the flathead screw that opens up the back. And then the other cool thing about these cameras, if you so choose, is there is a USB-C port on the actual camera. So what that USB-C port is there for is that if you want to power your cameras with a cable instead of battery power, you can plug in a USB cable for power. And so that is what the camera looks like. So I have 4 cameras in total. I have this one that's here in the front of my house. I have one here that covers the west side of my house. I have one mounted here that covers the north side of my house that also faces the road so I can see cars going by. And my last one is out here on this bracket that covers the east side of my house, and it's just on a bracket that I mounted to this tree because, I rent this house, so I can't actually physically mount anything to the house. That's why everything is either mounted like this on tree. This is the only one that's mounted on a tree, and then the rest of them are just zip tied to poles or the gutters. But that is how I have coverage of all directions with my security cameras. So after showing you guys the cameras, there's a couple things that I want to talk about, mainly just because when I set mine up, this was something that caused an issue for me when I set them up, and about an hour or so of troubleshooting that hopefully I can save you from. So basically, and if you already, for this next section, if you know what band steering and WPA are, you'll be fine. You probably already know this. For those of you that don't, I implore you to stick around. So basically, for the security cameras, they connect wirelessly with the sync module, and the sync module connects to your Wi-Fi router. So basically, how most newer Wi-Fi routers work is there are different channels in the router. There's a regular 2.4 gigahertz channel and a 5 gigahertz channel. Basically, what that means is 2.4 has farther range. To the 5 gigahertz pushes faster speeds. Doesn't go as far, more susceptible to stuff getting in the way. So band steering, which not all routers have band steering. The routers that I have at home, they are called TP-Link agents. They are a mesh system. Out of the box, they come with band steering on. Band steering is it takes the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz, puts them together into one network, and lets the devices pick whichever one that they want to do, which is a good idea in theory. The problem with that is most devices are not smart enough to pick which one they need. So take that to the side. That's what band steering is. WPA. So WPA is a security feature in Wi-Fi routers. WPA stands for Wi-Fi protection access. Basically, if your Wi-Fi router has a password on it, it's WPA protected. So most routers nowadays out of the box, they're going to come with WPA protection on it, and they come out of the box with WPA2, which is the second generation of WPA. It came out in 2004. Okay, so 2018 is when WPA3 came out, and it's basically anything, if you look, anything that has a Wi-Fi certified sticker on the box, it uses WPA3, which it's more secure, it has more encryptions, all that fun stuff. So the sync module, all of the Blink security cameras stuff, they do not support WPA3. It only goes up to WPA2, which I found interesting because the sync module 2 that comes with all of the Blink products, it came out in 2020, so it technically could be WPA3 certified, but from what I've read, the reason that it's not is the same reason that you can't have band steering on for the security cameras, because the Blink, I don't want to say that's for all security cameras or wireless security cameras, but for the Blink ones specifically, they do not support 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi bands. They only support 2.4 gigahertz because of the range issues. 5 gigahertz doesn't go that far, therefore it would not be good for your security cameras, even if your security camera is literally right next to your router. So they only support 2.4, and they only go up to WPA2. So that being said, a lot of newer routers come out, especially I've noticed it a lot just because I work in an industry where I install internet. A lot of TP-Link products, especially, they come with band steering on out of the box, especially the mesh systems that we use where I work personally. So the band steering, you got to turn it off and you have separated. So you'll have your Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz channel and your 5G channel. You'll basically, if you look up on like your phone, there will be two different Wi-Fi networks that you can connect to. Same password, all that fun stuff. It's just one's a 2.4 gigahertz channel, one's a 5. And then you got to crank down the WPA security to WPA2. Sometimes it, on out of the box, the agents, I think they come out, it's either just WPA2 or WPA2/WPA3. I think with mine, I may have turned WPA3 on when I got them. But what's nice about them is that, and then again, all this is dependent on if you are going to go into the admin settings of your router and change all these security settings. If you're not, that's totally fine. It's just something to think about if you're setting them up and you can't get them to connect to your router. So that's something that if you can get into the admin login of your settings of your router, awesome. If you can't, contact your ISP. They might be able to tell you how. I digress. So, but what's nice and how I have my network currently set up is, so I had to turn the band steering off. The 2.4 gig channel, the security cameras are the only thing that's on it. And it's just because security cameras are the only thing that's on it, and I took the 5 gigahertz channel in my router, I put on the W3A the WPA3, and I left, and it's obviously on 5 gigahertz, and that is fine for everything else in my house because I have a mesh system, so I have multiple nodes throughout the house, so coverage is fine. So again, some of this stuff you may have gone over your head, you may not know, you may be indifferent, you may be listening to me ramble about this and saying, Tanner, that's common knowledge, especially with what you're trying to do. Why didn't you know that? As I digress, that's just something that when I was setting up my cameras, that it was something that caused me frustration and I had to troubleshoot, and here we are now. So other than that, I've loved having the security cameras. Sometimes I'm still playing with some of it. So sometimes I get notifications for tree branches wiggling or leaves falling. I'm still fine tuning all that stuff. One thing I have noticed is, especially my one that's over here that is mounted on the tree, the squirrels love to play with it. So every other day I'll come home and it's upside down or it's pointed a different direction because the squirrels are jumping on it. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet. I have found a raccoon that is wandering around, that he likes to come around about 3:30 in the morning. So I like that I can know when stuff's going on, and it gives me peace of mind that if anything ever happens, I have most of it on video. Other things with the Blink system, a lot of times when you buy it, it comes with a subscription or a free month of their subscription service for the cameras. The subscription service, it is $30 per device, or you can pay a flat $100 and have as many devices as you want, and that's for a whole year, I believe. Off the top of my head, I can't tell you the difference between them. I've asked people that I know that have the Blink security system, and they're like, "Oh, it doesn't make a difference," and some people say it do. I think a lot of it is just with the where the files are stored, how much you can store, stuff like that. I think with the subscription, you get unlimited cloud file storage, but without it, I think there's a limit. But I don't know off the top of my head because I haven't really looked that far into it yet. But when I know, I'll let you guys know. So that is my rant, and that is my security system. If you have, comment down below if you have your own security system that you think is better, or if you have the Blinks and that want to talk about your experience. Whatever the case may be, maybe you don't have security cameras and you think having security cameras is stupid. I want to know. Let's talk about it down in the comments below. And that's all I got to say in this video. So I hope you are staying safe out there, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.